I made $2,500 on my first deal. So I went and hired mentors. I hired 3 mentors back to back to back. I paid them each $5,000, put it on my credit card. My first mentor, Fabian Calvo, stole $50,000 from me. He got my American Express on file, and he would charge stuff over the next year, tires, brakes, restaurants in California. He got on, and he was actually a good mentor. He got on heroin, or what was that substitute? Not meth. What's the substitute for heroin? Opiates back then. What was it called? Oxycontin. He got on Oxycontin right around the time I hired him, so I just timed him back to timing. And he stole all that money from me, and God bless his soul, I put him in jail. I called the private detective, put his ass in jail, got back a little bit of my money, not much. Second and third mentors were great. I learned a lot. Got the right information, and this is 2014. I went and I implemented, I took action. This is another real pertinent point for you guys. When you get information that's accurate and it works, you don't need to think about it no more. You move, right? I took action. I was like, I'm going to do the cheapest marketing I can do to try to generate motivated seller leads. And I'm not saying to do this now because you can't do this no more, but I bought 400 bandit signs, right? And I literally put 400 bandit signs out, and this is back in 2014. Like I said, you can't get away with this anymore. I was doing that every month. They almost put me in jail a year or two later because you could not go down a street in Lafayette without seeing one of my signs. Every single day I would wake up, put bandit signs out, and I would statistically stat how many signs I put out, and I held myself accountable every single day, 7 days a week, because I know my ass was on the line. I made so much money from 2014 to 2016 putting bandit signs out. I was able to, walk away from my shops. I put all of my shops for sale. Every single one of them, because I started off making 40, 50 grand a month. I was losing $20,000 a month. Wholesaling kept me from going bankrupt. I should have went bankrupt in 2014. But then I started making 40, 50, 60, 80. Then I started having 6-figure months. When I got to the point where I was consistently hitting 50 grand a month, I put all my shops for sale. I had 4 shops at the time. I was lucky to make 20, 30 grand a month. And I was managing 33 people, doing 100 cars a day. You know how many brake jobs, tune-ups, and car washes and rock chip repairs that I have to do to make $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a month? Dude, I was doing that by myself. I was like, I'm in the wrong business. That's not a light bulb, but I'm in the wrong business. Put all my shops for sale. I got lucky. I got the biggest quick lube mechanic shop in the country. Express Oil bought me out. I made a lot of money on that deal. Yeah, and ended up selling another shop. I sold all the shops except for one. I ended up 1031 exchanging. Who here knows what a 1031 exchange is? Everybody should know what a 1031 exchange is. So I did not pay taxes legally, morally, and ethically. Made a bunch of money. I bought, let me back up, because Patty and I, when we were 22, watched The Secret. Who ever heard of The Secret? That's real, folks. The power of visualization, power of intention. We wrote down a vision board of everything we wanted. And on that board was that we wanted a beach house in Destin. And sure enough, the exact beach house we wanted, it looked like it has a wraparound porch. It's the only wraparound porch in that whole area. We ended up buying, with the money that we ended up making from the buyout. So fast forward, put the shops for sale. I started making a ton of money. And because what you understand is when the market gets really bad, wholesaling gets pretty good. But interest rates were still low in 2014, because you're probably asking, well, why wholesaling hadn't been that great the past 2 years? Because, well, interest rates are still too high. But if interest rates get low and you have a bad economy, because I pay attention to these statistical data, you can take it to the bank, wholesaling will get really good. Flipping won't be that great. But wholesale, if interest rates get into 5s or 6 and the economy's bad, the deals will float to the top. So I ended up selling off all the shops except for one. I was doing so well in their coaching program, they asked me to go work in their sales department with their sales team, because I was posting $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 checks. I said, yeah, I'll go work in there. And I ended up making, they were paying me 10, 15 grand, about 10, 12 grand a month to go coach for them, because I was good at selling. I was good at the game. And as I was posting all these checks, people, were inboxing me to help them with their game. And I'm sitting there, I'm selling for them, but I'm actually coaching their students too. I'm like, well, shit, I'm a businessman. I mean, and then I figured I was a lot better at this than my coaches. And I was like, well, I'm just going to start a coaching company. And I started a coaching company and training people. And what I ended up doing is I got, I cherry picked the best students out of my program, and I started partnering with them. And then that's how I blew up. I took the best students in the best markets, and I started partnering with them. There we go, it's back. I started partnering with them, and that's how I scaled all over the country, mostly the South. From there, I started making a bunch of money again. And I know this is a long-winded story. It all has lessons, and we're going to get to the end, and it's going to all make sense. I started making a bunch of money again, and I pulled myself out of that shithole I was in, of almost going bankrupt, not for the second time. And I have a serious tax problem again. And now I need to buy some rental property again. But I didn't want to go at it the same way because I learned a lesson. Well, I was like, shit, I don't know what asset class I want to get into. Let me just think about it. Well, when you think about stuff, you attract what you think about. Whatever you want, you're gonna figure it out if you think about it. Well, I'm sitting there getting a haircut, and I look in Wealth magazine, some kind of magazine, had a picture of Warren Buffett, and he says, mobile homes, the wave of the future. This is 2016, 17. Yeah, I bought my first park one in 2007. It's 2017. And I was like, shit, mobile homes. Shit, there's mobile homes all over South Louisiana. I picked it up, and Warren Buffett, he had just bought out Clayton Mobile Homes. Y'all heard of Clayton? He had just bought it out. And he starts naming out, and this is 2007, this is how genius Warren Buffett is. He's a visionary. He can see into the future. He starts naming all these stats that are happening today. He's like, inflation will get too high. Student debt will get out of control. Income will not be able to keep up with the cost of living. So what's going to happen? People are going to have to buy mobile homes. That's why he ended up buying Clayton Mobile Homes. I was like, shit, that makes a lot of sense. I said, I'm going to be a mobile home park investor. And I told my wife that, and sure enough, after I told her that, I kid you not, a week later, I'm walking down this aisle where I work out at a gym called Reds, and this realtor walks by that I talk to and cut up with every day when I see him. He says, shit, Rood, I got this asset, this property, I don't even know what to do with it. It's a damn mobile home park. And I just read that article a week before. Crazy, right? I was like, he goes, you buy stuff like that? I said, yeah, let's take a look at it. And it was off market. The dad had just died. The kids inherited, and they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. I went look at it. It was off the Evangeline Thruway in Lafayette behind the McDonald's. I went look at it. It was a 24 unit. And they wanted, I worked them down all the way to $420,000.